Council meeting Tuesday, November the 15th, our annual 1:30 meeting. I need a motion to suspend the rules.
So moved.
Moved by
Second.
Mr. Lawrence, second by Mr. Glavin. Any discussion? No discussion. All in favor? Okay, Carrie, could you read the
To the
Read the
consent
minutes.
agenda, we're removing 5K, resolution amending the police department budget. We're removing 5S, resolution to approve emergency repair to Point Cadet elevator, substituting exhibit only for 5QQ, resolution for special event with KBA Group, and adding 5YY, resolution rescinding resolution 75322 for Hurricane Sally.
I need a motion to accept the agenda as amended. Moved by Mr. Lawrence,
Second.
second by Mr. Glavin. Any questions? No questions. All in favor? 4-0. Motion carried. This time we have the mayor's report
Yeah,
in our
thank you.
presentation.
Thank you, Mr. President. I would like to call Celeste O'Keefe up there about brief us on Hibernia. Thank you.
We're working really close with Ground Zero. They're kind of like our home base now. You may know we've changed the parade route, and I know the police chief is real happy about that, so we won't be going down the beach. And after the parade and before the parade, we're setting up at the District Green. We're having jugglers and face painters, and we're having a band. So we're trying to, our goal is to get people to come and stay during the day for the parade downtown. We're also talking to some hotels because we're going to market like in a 60-mile radius. I've had people already call me from New Orleans and Jackson about coming to our parade. So the goal is to get some more hotel rooms, get some money spent here. And, you know, with us being such an ethnic group and people think you have to be Irish, and you don't. It's a little harder. We're working really, except for
Irish tendencies. You can have Irish tendencies.
Irish
okay.
tendencies, very Irish.
Right.
Look at it. But so our goal, 25 members in September of 19 to 204. So we're really proud of that. And I just want to thank all of y'all for your support and just be ready because we're just ready to knock it out the park. One more thing, Mr. Mayor, I want to tell you, the young man that answers the telephone here is so polite and kind.
Oh, that was me. No.
No better than that.
But he really is. I've had to call like 4 times, and he's a pleasure to speak to.
Well, good.
So thank all of you for your support, and we're looking to a huge event. Irish Beer and Potato Bash is Thursday night. We're having something called Leprechaun Juice. They're making our own beer for us. So
Looking forward.
So maybe y'all can come.
All right. Thank you, Celeste.
Thank y'all so much. I really appreciate it.
Appreciate Hibernia. Thank you. Along the lines, I think this Saturday we have shutting down Howard Avenue for the Blues Festival at Ground Zero. So another part of the life of Howard Avenue is coming. So, and welcome everybody to this meeting. And I think that concludes my report, Mr.
Thank you,
I've
Mr.
forgotten
Mayor.
anything?
All righty. I don't see any department reports, so we're going to move on to the council report. Mr. Lawrence?
Yeah, Popo, we still looking on to see where we at with the raises for the city employees. You said
Yep.
you're working on it, but we
Working
hadn't
on it
heard
right now,
anything
yeah.
from you.
This week, I should be in a position to know the range, you know, what we're looking at, and the employees, PD's already had some situations, so we're trying to get the journal entries by department to recommend.
Yeah, just it's everybody in the city. We need
Yeah.
to look at all of them, not just the fire
We do.
department,
We
not
know
the police
all
department.
604.
Everybody. Right.
That's it.
But that's our goal, the council, is to make sure we have adequate raises for everyone. And I've called you a couple of times on the fences
Yep,
around
it's
Savannah
in the
Park.
budget.
What do we have to do to get that? put
Again,
up real quick?
Sherry's in the audience. Okay, so we included all the recreation, and the fence is part of that recreation component of the bond. And you working on that fence, yeah. Yeah.
Say what was
All the fences, including the group.
Birds, and both of them, those something that we've
Yeah.
been looking at. And it says concession stand and the 200,000, you have that set up in that bond too, to build a concession stands and the bathrooms at the pickleball court?
And pickleball, yeah, that's 200,000.
That's true,
Exactly.
so we have that
Yeah.
dedicated for that money?
Yeah, that's in there. That's all part of the same group.
Okay, if we had any money left over, we're gonna build some courts. So we got more and more people coming to the city of Biloxi wanna play. And right now, we're the number one pickleball bunch in the world down here. So don't fail.
No.
Don't let, not
We're
lose that.
looking for the Pickleball World
Yeah, right.
Championship, the Major League World Pickleball Bowl, Pickle Bowl, or whatever it is, Super Bowl.
And you and Pete Abide told me when we had the budget time, y'all was gonna give me a report from the court system. I've received no report from y'all yet. That all the money didn't go strictly to the court, that it went to different things, and you was gonna break that down and give it to us.
Yeah,
So I'm still
I-
waiting.
I don't know what the status of that is, but we can do that. Peter will be working on that.
And did you sell us Wetman House?
Not yet.
That's a good idea.
I
you
think we
know.
got to declare it surplus, and there's a
that-
couple of things.
We don't need another building, Fofo. You know that. We don't need another building to maintain.
Well, we're looking into it, and some inquiries being made.
You know, because I mean, that's man's interested, lives right there, he's gonna fix it up, he's in the construction business. I mean, that's a good opportunity to put that back on.
Peter,
the
have
city.
we had our appraisal on it already? No, we're proceeding with that.
He's pretty interested, the guy that's been contacting y'all on that. So that's something we need to finish up on. And one day, ask Jerry Creel, are you awake, Jerry?
Wait.
Can you step up to the mic there? Let's get on TV. On side of the grocery store on Irish Hill, they got a dispensary opened up at 1010. 1010 it says they have a pharmacy, a apothecary shop,
Oh, that's
and I didn't know we had approved any of those.
CBDD, that's CDD, whatever it is, CBD.
1010. It's right across the street from the food giant.
Oh, next to Lee's Grocery on that, yeah. The dispensary, Coast Dispensary, is that what you're asking about?
We actually passed that?
They-
That's,
Right, no, right next to.
it's a separate building right there.
But-
Used to be the package store.
Terry Creel's liquor store, old liquor store there.
No, that was Joey. That wasn't Creel. That was
No, that's
I
a-
was just wondering because I noticed I just
CBD
passed it and it got pharmacy and everything on the door.
That's not a dispensary.
This would be on Porter, Mr. Lawrence?
Yeah.
Say again?
Right next to the Coding Academy, right next to Old West End Pharmacy. But that's not a,
No. Weston's on the corner. That's a coding.
between the water tank and Porter Avenue on Irish Hill.
Right,
Yeah,
going towards the water tank.
right towards the water tank. That's not a dispensary. It's a CBD or whatever.
Yeah.
Well,
It's not a dispensary.
Well, I tell you, y'all better ride down there then. Because that's what it's all over the walls. And it's written as a pharmacy, got pharmacy on it. And
It's
also
a herb shop, or whatever it is.
We'll check on that.
Yeah.
all right.
The only one that I know about is next to
You okay,
Lee's
Mr.
Grocery.
Lawrence?
I guess so. That's enough for right now.
Yeah. No, it's a while, yeah. They're inspecting.
Okay, next, Dr. Tisdale.
Mr. Mayor, how about those vacancies on the Planning Commission and the Tree Committee?
They're still vacant, and we still got some recommendations. I will do that this week.
I'm a little blue over here in the face.
I don't want you perplexed.
Sit
for
by
sure.
the phone
right.
almost every night.
All right, but we'll talk tomorrow, and I'll have those.
And I think I'd raised this before. It's a recommendation, really. When we do the Planning Commission, we put the agenda out there online. Is it possible to have links to those documents that you have present for those who attend the Planning Commission meetings? You know, kind of like the city's agenda, where you'd have a link for each item, and boom, you can see what the documents are, the application and that kind of stuff. I know there's a hard copy there on the table when you attend the meeting, but if you don't attend the meeting and you're interested, you really have nothing to go by.
That information should be going out. I'll check on that and find out if they're not putting it out. You should be able to go on there once we put it online and review all of the documents that are included in the application.
Okay,
But,
and maybe they are. Last time I checked, they were not. I'm just thinking I would think it's doable, and it would be very much a convenience for folks that follow those kind of things. They could look.
It is doable. We try to be very careful to make sure that we don't put those documents on there prematurely, because we don't want citizens calling planning commission members about a case that they haven't even received the the agenda for. So typically what we try to do is to get them out the Friday before the following Thursday meeting. But I'll check on that and make sure that we're getting all the documents on that.
Thank you, Jerry. Also, was it last night? Seems like a long time ago. It was last night. We had 6 new fire recruits finish their training. They were sworn in last night. I'd never been to one of those. I got there a few minutes late. I was there in case the mayor ran long, but he didn't. He was done in about 2.5 minutes, a long 2.5 minutes. But it was very nice to see the families and the pictures, and Chief Geiser and Assistant Chief Davis did a really good job with the comments. Anyway, it was a nice turnout. It was very nicely done, and appreciate being able to go and see that. That concludes my comments. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Tisdale. Mr. Glavin?
No report.
Okay, Mr. Barrett?
Two things. I would like to give a shout out to Mike Hosley and his crew. They've taken care of several issues that we contacted them on here in the last couple of weeks, and got to them really quick. And being shorthanded, I know how difficult their situation is. So I want to give a shout out to him and his team. And then I just wanted to follow up on the raises. How are we looking on that? And then when's the deadline? I know that our deadline is we want to have these implemented by January 1. So when do we have to have something voted on and approved?
Within, by the first meeting in December, you should have everything recommended. By next week, I'll give you some recommendations by department, what additional journal entries that need to be done.
All right, I appreciate it. That's all I have. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Glavin, did you have?
I'm good. Well, I do have a question. We're kind of getting some text saying some Amtrak ramps and signs are going up. You know anything about that? Some Amtrak signage and ramps and everything?
I see it myself, but that's something you may want to ask the mayor.
Okay. Anything to it? These, starting to get some text from some people inquiring about Amtrak signage and ramps they see going up.
I've seen the ramp,
Yep.
the construction of the ramp, that's all I know about. Right?
As you may remember, Councilman, we had a capital project to design and build the ramp, and we had a $250,000 grant, was matched by the Southern Rail Commission. After about 6 months of back and forth and not a whole lot of progress other than a lot of meetings, we were told that Amtrak has decided they wanted to build and design and build the crossings. So we backed out, and we gave the grant back and waited, and so one day, about 2 months ago, I got a call from a lady working for an outfit called Granite Construction. She said, I just need to know whether it's a no-cost building permit for us to build the train platform. And I said, when are you going to do that? And they said, well, pretty soon. We've got the contract, and we're working for Amtrak. So they these guys come into town, and just go to work. They don't even come and get a permit from us, right, Jerry? They're working on railroad easement, so they just don't feel like they need to ask the city about anything. So that's what they're doing down there. They're building the platform. And it's, they've got signage going up and so forth. Now, I can't address whether we're gonna have any trains or not,
Okay.
but we will have a platform,
All right. Thank you.
a lonely platform.
Okay, thank you. Okay, Ms. Newman? Mr. Deming?
Sorry I'm late, guys. One of the
One
ceilings.
demerit.
Well, thank you. Last night's weather, I don't know if we've had any problems with it, but one of the buildings that we have, one of my clients has retail in, collapsed, and so we were all trying to help correct that situation. That storm came out of nowhere last night, in my opinion, at least. I'm not a meteorologist. Have been getting a lot of compliments on the Bluffs. I guess they don't recall how long they've been waiting to get this stuff done in the Bluffs, but they have been complimenting that we're out there and the work that's being done.
Well, if you stop and visit with them, what you'll find is they're at all stop right now, because after they got the first of the big concrete slabs out, there was a gap underneath, no surprise, and a lot of water. So they've got to de-water it somehow and then get some more rock underneath before they pour.
Have we
So
got,
I have a feeling if that's a sign of things to come, that's going to be very expensive, getting the rest of those areas done.
yeah, it probably will. Have we heard anything at all from the county on this? I know we sent over that resolution for joint effort, but any response from them at all?
No,
The good news, they didn't find any creosote, so
yeah.
it's only
No,
water.
didn't find any creosote or bones.
Any update on the paving work over across the street from that
Right.
on
The
Ravenwood? and North?
contractor walked it finally and with his little wheel and measured it, and we'll get a quote probably today.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Okay, that concludes your report? Okay, and I have a few things. I want to thank the Recreation Department staff for the senior dinner last week. That turned out really, really great. The mayor showed up. We had a good time there. The fire department and the police department serving and cooking the food. So I want to thank you guys for what you guys have done for our seniors. The Division Street project, it's nice to see that they opened up a little bit. And when I was driving through that way, I decided to drive all the way down. And although they're not totally complete, it looks good to have that traffic going back and forth through there. And that's going to be a very, very nice, good-looking area once it's finished. And I
Well-
guess my question would be the time frame. The time
Now,
to have those great,
we're-
wonderful
we're
lights
not-
up.
We're not encouraging anybody to drive on it yet, although you're welcome to, if you go nice and slow and don't run over the workers. It's open, and there's still some little patches that have to be paved, the little turnout roads and side roads and so forth that we have to get. And the street lights are due in this week. Once the street lights are in, we'll start putting them up. We can't stripe for 14 days, so 14 days from when we finish the paving, that's when we stripe, and that'll be the last thing, and that should bring us right up to Thanksgiving.
Gotcha. Okay, well, thank you for that. Wanted to get any update, if you had any update on the Main Street crossing, when did they kind of want to get cranked up on that?
We have not given them a notice to proceed yet. Actually, we haven't you haven't approved the awarded contract yet. I think it's on the agenda next time around. And there'll usually be a 30-day period of mobilization. So we're really talking about late December to early January, probably when they'll start. And I think it's a 3-month, I think it's a 9-month period of performance.
Right.
But that crossing will be closed for probably 9 months.
Okay.
You see, we got a truck stuck there today.
And that's what I was about to say. That's one of the reasons why.
Councilman, you just can't fix stupid. We got signs all over the place that say no trucks.
Yeah. Everybody didn't look at signs for whatever reasons. Okay, and yeah. The last thing is, did we make those guys get did we make them get a permit for those ramps for that Amtrak? We didn't make them get a.
Did not make them get a permit. I think they did. They would probably tell us they don't need a permit because they're working on the CSX Amtrak
Because it's on their property.
on their property.
Okay, gotcha. And the last thing is I wanted to give a shout out to the group, the Movers and Shakers. They did a Veterans Day program where they went out to the homeless, ministered to the homeless down by the visitor center. And I want to give a shout out to them. That was a very good skit that they had on WLOX. And that concludes my report. Next, we want to move on to the citizen comments. Citizen comments will be a total of 45 minutes, 3 minutes per person. Is there anyone on my left would like to come up and have a few minutes to speak?
Here we go.
Come on up, Mr. Gilbert. Please sign in, and your 3 minutes will begin when you sit down.
What I'm introducing is, this is a robotic lifting system to help our high school students build
get a special use permit to we'll go to, Deer Island and Ship Island. Accommodate disabled people with their loved ones and caretakers. With the University of Southern Mississippi, Blue Economy Innovation District. I have all of them commercialization opportunity, hire here with spouses, all kids.
That's it.
Part of the YMCA Boys and
Go to
Girls
the
Club.
mic.
Mr. Gilbert, if you're going to speak to the audience, at least get the microphone.
I apologize.
Yes, sir.
But anyhow, I want to introduce that with the Blue Economy, with BP contract, okay, enhancement recreation, quality of life. But now on this other hand, October 3rd, I'm introducing a new opportunity, Save Singing River Hospital. We're saving Singing River Hospital, a new manufacturing opportunity with Red Cross, a new industry. So I want to help the kids out. I want to save everybody, eliminate poverty, obesity, and student loans. I have this opportunities, ladies and gentlemen, with everybody, World Health Organizations, with the USAID, World Bank, they all know me. I'm not here, robotics, assistive technology, everything. I'm here to help y'all. I can go anywhere in the world, my grandkids are here. I sold my penthouse, kept my 10 acres, you know. I'm a heart patient with a pacemaker. I can't continue on this mission. Veteran Bottled Water Company. We're donating houses, caskets, and dormitories. We're coming out of the woods to help y'all out and help the kids out. Keep them off the streets. You know, this is very powerful. Represent Mississippi more appropriately than Mississippi burning. You know, my mother's buried at the National Cemetery. I'm gonna do a movie with Robin Roberts. They're all waiting on me. Senator Roger Wicker knows me. They're waiting on me to introduce them, Mr. Jamie Miller and Miss Joy Young. You know, Young Professionals the other night. Mr. Jamie Miller told him I needed a transportation summit with Gina Romano and Kathy Vidal. So they asked me what I need. So I told them. I'm not bashful. You can tell that. Y'all been watching me for quite a long time. I've been looking at this appropriately. I'm on medication, I'll tell you that. But yet I'm focused. And I'm positive what I can do for y'all. Thank you much for your time. Have a blessed day.
Thank you, Mr. Gilbert. Is there anyone else on my left? Anyone else on my left? Okay, is there anyone on my right? None on my right. Anyone in the back? Okay, that being none, citizen comments are closed. Going to start off, go next to the policy agenda, Resolution A. Carrie?
Resolution granting conditional use approval for a short-term rental to be located at 139 Brady Drive.
Motion by Ms. Newman. Would there be a second? I'll second it for discussion. Are there any questions?
Okay. The property is zoned RM30, which allows it as a conditional use. Immediately to the west side is CB. To the south, a couple of lots down is CB. This house is the first house on the left when you turn on to Brady next to the Kangaroo Station off of Beach Boulevard. And it's a beautiful house. It's perfect for short-term rental. They do have an elevator and a staircase on the front and on the rear. They have plenty of parking on the property. So it meets the criteria for short-term rental.
Okay. Any questions for Mr. Creel?
Does it meet all 9 conditional uses?
Yes, sir, it does.
All 9 conditional?
All 9, yes, sir.
That'd be the first one ever, if that's the case.
Mhm.
That met all 9 to get a conditional use.
It meets all
Hey,
9.
you can shake your head all you want, Jerry. I mean, if that way we're gonna go with the city of Biloxi, 323 years old, to put short-term rentals everywhere, put them anywhere, that's a need, it's this, it's that. So, I mean, we got .39 of an acre listed as RM30. How dumb is that for the city of Biloxi? A little bitty lot, they have it listed RM 30. Either something we've done wrong somewhere along the line, we're letting these single-family lots being listed as RM 30s and RM 20s. There's no reason for that.
Well, Mr. Lawrence, let me remind you that there was a recommendation from the council to go back and remove short-term rental from all the residential zonings. And we went back and held a public hearing, and y'all denied that request. So it has come back to the city council for y'all to vote on it, to remove it from multifamily residential, and it did not pass.
That don't make it right. I'm just saying, we're doing the same thing over and over, single-family lots. You got another one on there, single-family lot. That's not what this town's about. We are supposed to be Biloxi, not our short-term rental. You gain anything with short-term rental? Can't prove a thing, one way or the other.
Okay. Anyone else? Any comments from anyone else? Okay, with none being none, we're gonna go ahead and call for the question. All in favor? All in favor? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All against? 2, 5, 2. Resolution passed. Carrie, did you get the numbers? You got it? Okay, thank you. Okay, Resolution B, Carrie?
Resolution granting conditional use approval for a short-term rental located at 137 Briarfield Avenue.
I need a motion.
I'll make that motion.
Motion by Dr. Tisdale, a second.
I'll second it.
Second by Mr. Glavin. Any discussion?
Yeah, I'd just like to point out, I'm not wild about short-term rentals, but the location of this particular structure, I think there are actually two structures side by side. This is the first of them that's requesting a conditional use for short-term rental.
No, sir, actually, that little house that's to the north of it, that looks exactly like it, already has short-term rental approval.
Well, I'm not sure. That's not the Russian lady, is it, that you're speaking of?
I don't know, you know, the two houses here side by side, they look exactly alike.
They
This
do.
is the southern house, the one that's right to it.
That's correct, the southern house. The northern house, I don't think anything's come forward yet. To the north of that is where the Russian, I'm sorry, I can't remember the address, the Russian lady, but that was approved for a short-term rental.
That's correct.
And I suspect the one between the Russian lady and this request is likely to be short-term rental, maybe not.
Yes, sir.
The point I'm trying to make is literally to the south and to the west is that short-term rental complex that the developers currently has under construction. And to the north, there's another short-term rental, and there are other short-term rentals across the street. That side of the subdivision is mostly RM 20 and 30, and some of these are we've granted conditional use for. So it's, in order to be consistent, you've got a section of that subdivision right there that's already pretty much 100% short-term rentals in that section of the street. So I can support this conditional use under those circumstances. Thank you.
Okay. Any other questions by anyone else?
I just want to say I'll support Councilman Tisdale's recommendation that we approve this RM 30 conditional use request for short-term rental. He made a good argument, you know, so I'll support his recommendation.
Okay, Ms. Baird, any comment? None? Mr. Deming?
No comment.
Ms. Newman? Mr. Lawrence?
I think I said that's one of the true neighborhoods we just totally destroyed. That's our short-term rental for the fall. So that's what we're working for the city of Biloxi. We used to be, we all Biloxi, but not anymore.
Okay, and that being said, I'm gonna go ahead and call for the question. All in favor? Okay, against? 1, 6, 1. Only dissent, Mr. Lawrence. Need a motion on the consent agenda?
So moved.
Moved by Dr. Tisdale, second. Second by Mr. Lawrence. And I'm gonna go ahead and start with Mr. Barrett. I have nothing. Okay, Mr. Glavin?
I have nothing.
Dr. Tisdale?
Yes, a couple of things. Item QQ, a special event agreement at Ewell's Place, and I'm thinking it really doesn't say what the special event is. It just says that we'll give them the, I guess, allow the event to occur if we approve this. Can you give me a little more information on what the event is? It's not, as long as it's not a surprise birthday for the mayor.
That I'm not sure. I'm sure he had his birthday here last month, so that's enough for 1 year.
Yeah, but you got to watch him. He's a politician.
Ewell's Place is featured in the Southern Mississippi Living magazine this month. It's out, and they describe the event in that magazine. It's really just a celebration of his time, business, and kind of bringing in a lot of his regular customers and so forth. And for everybody to be able to see the new floating docks, so that means people can come to that event by boat now.
Good deal.
This is kind of a show-off, one-day deal.
Okay. Let's see.
I just got a comment on Ewell's Place. So if Ewell's Place doesn't make it as a restaurant, does that qualify for a short-term rental?
Yeah, the other thing I want to do is just make an observation, since we're trying to be competitive with our salaries and looking at compensation. And I'm not knocking it, it's just, it was interesting to look at, just for comparative pay purposes, on item SS. That's the sports field, the Holloway Complex, Sports Complex field improvements, as is typically done in the contract of the agreement. They list the hourly rates of the principals, and so forth, engineers, surveyors, and just the lowest hourly rate goes to the survey laborer, who makes $25 an hour. And I'm not knocking Machado Patano, but what I'm saying is, and I know everybody can't be a survey laborer, but that's what the private sector's paying out there for folks, so we want to be as competitive as we can be, so.
That's likely a burden rate.
No, I'm sure it is. I'm sure that's not what the laborer takes home, but all things considered, I remember Mr. Barrett saying, boy, at Target, you can collect baskets, shopping carts for how much, Nathan? $15, $25. So we just, I'm just making an observation. We want to be competitive. It'd be great if other cities were chasing our salaries, our hourly rates. I would hope that
And that's the intent. That's the intent, to create a situation where people have an attraction, and not always dollars, but the whole package is what's going to be the attractiveness of what we're trying to do over the next week.
I just wanted to point that out. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
Is that it, Dr. Tisdale?
That's it. Thank you.
Okay. Next time, we want to kind of stay with the consent agenda. Appreciate you. Thank you. Love you. Oh, Mr. Deming?
Anything on the consent?
None. Ms. Newman? None. Mr. Lawrence?
To make sure my mic was dead, so I couldn't talk about short-term rentals anymore.
Okay.
A couple of questions, Mike, Mayor, one of y'all. How many of these hurricanes that we still have open, that we still drawing money from?
Sally and
I know we got,
Zeta's still open, I think. I'm not sure. I think everything else is done.
That's our last close out of anything that we had pending for Sally.
I was just wondering, do they have a time limit on them? Like the claims against the hurricane, did they just shut them down or what?
Storm has a
Still
limit,
same thing.
which can be and has been extended if we ask for it.
Nate, Zeta.
At the end of the day, FEMA shuts the door and say that's no more. So we've still got a good many active projects for Zeta. We're probably going to be talking Zeta for at least another year.
Okay, and on the one we pulled, they had the wrong name on it. It was supposed to be the elevators somewhere else, not at the CP Museum. Because you pulled it, you removed that one, and you said it was on Point Cadet. So it must have been the harbor,
That's the one at the harbor,
right? So they had the wrong name on it originally.
Point Cadet Harbor.
Okay.
The elevator, just FYI, the elevator to the bait shop in the small craft harbor has been down since Zeta. And probably it's not repairable. Just got it blocked off, but nobody uses that building, so.
Well, the 2580, is that to replace the elevator? I mean, it's got, is that replacing it? The 25,800 you got in here?
Yeah, that's to make a repair to the elevator. Well, I tell you, don't get us started. Rachel, I'm sure can school you on. Started with about 12 different elevator companies. And little bit by little bit, we've reduced down to the point where we're mostly dealing with one elevator company, and they're very efficient and very inexpensive compared to the other guys. That's an A1. That's an A1 job.
What you say?
Place man control.
Say again, what you say?
You want to try the microphone? Elevators is a
Come on, Rachel.
expensive business.
We had to replace the main controller. That's why this elevator repair was so expensive. You were asking what it was for, and that was it.
Trying to figure out what we're doing. That's all. Make sure we're getting it done. I noticed we have all these bids from Mandel on all these cars.
No, Mandel on cars. Got an update on the cars.
We have the deal in Biloxi that they don't bid on this stuff.
This is a auto state contract.
Say again?
All these automobiles, if that's what you're asking about, all on state contract.
Yeah, I mean, we do, I said we have one car dealership in the city of Biloxi. I was just wondering if they even bid on any of this stuff. Mandel's not in the city of Biloxi, so I was just asking that question if they do bid the Chevrolet company, whatever it is, that right there in Biloxi.
All these automobiles, in both for fire and PD, are on state contract, and you purchase to whoever has.
They're on state contract, and then from there, it's whoever on state contract has any vehicles. We've had a hard time the last, actually, almost 2 years now, just trying to find vehicles. And I know the dealerships are having a hard time because they can't seem to get the vehicles in. So it's kind of a cross between state contract and then who actually has the vehicles on state contract.
Kind of like the insurance company, you don't want to write city of Biloxi with the surge and the tides and the floods and all the stuff they make up. All right, just wondered. Thought maybe I had a shot at getting some of that business in Biloxi, that's all. And the last one on the SS, this is the one with now. Are we going to make sure the concession stands comes out of the 200,000? This is all about the ball fields, isn't that right?
Yeah.
Okay. But I'm just saying, we talked about the fences. I need to enclose that.
The bond, right.
I need to enclose that for them kids.
Yeah.
They're running all over the streets. I mean, it's something we need to do. You know, and I'm not for.
The fences are there. The fences are in the capital bond allocation.
Yeah. But I mean, how do we make sure it's done? That's all. That's all I'm trying to make sure that we get it on the table for the concession stand.
Before we're getting quotes per fence, I think. Where's our crack engineer? We had some requests per linear foot of what we're trying to fence in. So.
I mean, you know, it's pretty important to make sure we have those things done. Us the enclosed playground equipment. Playground equipment put in, great, terrific. It's kind of hard to control a bunch of little kids. The mom is not that fast. They'll be out in the street before they can blink. So I just want to make sure that gets done. The fencing part, grudge just needs to look better, grudge. They have a fence around that, but just trying to make sure we get those things done. I'm not going to spend any money on the ball fields, the baseball fields, until we get this important stuff to me done. So, thank you.
In the mix.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Lawrence. And I have none, I think, none. Mayor, did you order the council president's car yet?
It's on order. I'm trying to get a state contract in on.
All right,
Not a Ferrari on order, though. I mean, nobody has a state contract on a Ferrari.
all right. Thank you. Okay, well, I'm gonna call for the question, and I'll
Let me
take the
ask you- can I ask
dissents.
one more question, I missed this
Okay.
one. This is the good thing for us. On excess is the money comes from the county for the Port Commission. We received our fourth check for the year.
Yeah, the last,
Okay.
the fourth,
How do you put that money into the general fund? You have to put that money into an account for them? 'Cause this is strictly for the
this
port,
is
right?
Diana, Diana, the port millage dedicated to the Port Authority goes into their cash account, right? The port millage that the city received for the port fund, though.
Okay.
No, not where it is depository, but it's booked to what revenue account in the port, the 44 port. Yeah. It's booked as revenue to the 44 fund, which is the port.
Yeah, I mean, that was a great thing y'all got done where they send the money to us. So I didn't know, have you allocated any of that money? I'm not just talking about the last few years.
Yeah, no, we've got a whole set of capital projects that we spread that, for foreseeables on what we're gonna do for port business.
This is the catch-up. You can see this one's larger than the
Right.
first three payments, because this is a catch-up from
What the millage
when they drew up all the property tax, that mill throughout the entire county.
Yeah, I mean, that's what y'all wind up doing, getting that money, them paying to us, that's pretty doggone sporty. That's a good deal for the city of Biloxi.
Crack
I was just
legal
wondering
deal.
if you had certain things that you had already lined up to spend it on. That's all I was finding out. I mean, that's $1.7 million, $1.8 million a year. That's strong.
That's good.
All right, thank you.
Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and call for the question on the consent agenda. Any dissents? I'll ask afterwards. All in favor of the consent agenda? Okay, 7-0. Mr. Lawrence, you have any objection? Ms. Newman? Mr. Dimon? None?
None.
Dr. Tisdale?
None.
Mr. Clavin?
None?
Mr. Barrett? None. Consent agenda pass.
Okay.
Okay, at this point, we're going to move on to an executive session. I need a motion and a second to go into closed session for the purpose of examining the necessity to go into executive session to discuss Oscarinda litigation and the lease of property that is for sale.
So moved.
Moved by Mr. Lawrence.
Dr. Lawrence, wow.
I need a second.
Second?
Second by Mr. Glavin. Any questions? All in favor? Okay, 6-1. Mr. Deming in dissent. I need a motion and second that the council conclude the closed session and reconvene as an opening meeting.
So moved.
Okay, Mr. Lawrence.
Second.
Second by Mr. Glavin. Any discussion? All in favor? Okay, 6-1. Mr. Deming also. And we need a motion and second for the council to go into executive session.
So moved.
Moved by Mr. Lawrence.
Second?
Second by Mr. Glavin. No discussion, all in favor? 6-1. Let's go into executive session.
Tie, could be tie.
Won't meetings like that. I'll call you tomorrow.
Oh, man.
Come on, you're old now. I'm the old person. Ready, George? All right. Okay, I need a motion and second that the council conclude the executive session and reconvene in opening meeting.
So moved.
Motion by Mr. Lawrence,
Second.
second by Mr. Glavin. Any questions?
Was there any action taken?
Just want to say no action was taken in the executive session. No action taken in the executive session. Call for the question. All in favor? 7-0. Oh, Robert, you with us this time. All
Well, he
right.
went to the meeting.
See, your hand went up.
He went.
Cool. Sorry about that. All right, we're gonna move on to there's no code enforcement, I don't see. Routine agenda, I need a motion on routine. Moving by Mr. Lawrence.
Second.
Second by Dr. Tisdale. Questions, George?
Yeah, Walt, we got anything? I need to ask you a couple questions anyway, so.
Good afternoon, council. This morning, we received $1.639 million from MEMA. And our next funding is $1.36 million. That's in step 3 of 5. Hopefully this week, they move it over to the next step, and usually that takes 10 to 15 business days for us to receive it.
That's good news there. Yes, sir. Good. A question, who is doing the work on the point right now?
That is Nikkei's Brothers Construction Company.
Uh-huh. He's been doing all of it, right?
Yes, sir. As far as the infrastructure, I believe he's the only contractor down there.
'Cause I noticed in some of the stuff that he's supposed to have been finishing up that he left, he hadn't completed the job. So how do we get him to do that? Just hold payments?
Well, he still is on the job, St. Michael's. There's 2 areas, St. Michael's 1 and 2. Currently, he's over near Howard Avenue and Dory's and Coon Street, putting in sewer on Coon and Dory specifically. We have base asphalt on all the roads east of Oak Street, which is our St. Michael's 2 area, except for a little bit on the service road. I do know they've got some lots still to clean up and things like that. Typically, they try to wait to the end. We have informed them that we have property owners that have requested multiple times to Nikkei's Brothers to finish with their lots so they can fully use it.
The transitions and curving, I think.
Yeah, but that's something that you're supposed to handle or the mayor's supposed to handle? Who's supposed to handle that to make sure he cleans up these people's property?
Yes, sir, that's part of his contract, and we do not release his final retainage at the end of the project until he abides by all aspects of the contract, including cleaning up the areas that they've disturbed.
Just wondering, because they got a few of
Right
them
there,
that
Michael.
they're really not done, so.
Right there, so a couple of the turning bays and stuff like that, I think they finish up right between Pine Street and Maple.
It's not a lot, it's just not finished.
Finish it, yeah.
And everybody knows he moved on. They don't figure he's coming back.
He's not going anywhere. We got his number, and usually.
We still have 2 inches of surface asphalt. He's got to clean up the right-of-way with the debris and rocks that have been disturbed when they put in the drainage and sidewalks, things of that nature. So he still has quite a bit to do.
I just want to make sure, 'cause I mean, if we have to hold payments, then that's what to get them to get their attention, then we'll do that. If not, as long as they do the job they're supposed to be doing, I'll finish up. And they should do that in a reasonable time, because they affected people probably the last year or 2.
Yes,
You
sir.
know what I
We're
Even though I know there's not people living down there, most of it's empty lots, but it's still their land.
Yes, we're trying to encourage him to finish everything east of Oak Street. If he can get the crews in there to finish it all up, including the cleanup, and possibly start the warranty period on that half of the project, which helps him and it helps the city. And we'll bring that back to his attention after this meeting.
Yeah, I appreciate that, because we have to go through you or the mayor to get it done. That's what we need to do.
Yes, sir.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, anyone else?
I may have should have asked this in the council report, but I was just curious to know, Chief may know, Mr. Mayor, you may know as well, the police auction or the City of Biloxi auction, what did it yield, the City of Biloxi?
The number I saw was over 100,000. We got to give 10% back to the auctioneer.
I say when I was there, it was like 68 in credit cards and 68 in cash and 68. There's 3 forms of checks or something like that. And that we give back. We give 10% to the auctioneers.
Yep.
That's pretty good day. Thank you. That's all I have.
Thank you for your money.
Okay, with none other, I'm gonna
still
call for the
there.
question. All in favor? Okay, that's everybody. Robert, you with us? All right. 6-0. Motion carries.
All right.
I need a motion to recess.
So moved.
Moved by Dr. Tisdale, second by Mr. Lawrence. Any questions? None? All in favor?
All right, go ahead. Go ahead, Nathan.